So a house here is likely to have less floor space than a flat, or as they call them, an apartment, in America. We're also paying more for property while getting less in return. I'm less bothered about that because most of us aren't going to be making comparisons with foreign properties or moving overseas. But I am interested in the consequences of living in cramped conditions. We have the worst value for money housing of any advanced economy, which is the perfect counter, really, isn't it, to all of those conversations about how lucky we are because our properties are going up exponentially every year. How have we ended up in this situation when other comparative economies haven't? And to make things even madder, and this is where it gets really bonkers, if you were to move to another advanced economy, you would not only have a lot more room, you would be paying less for it. So we've ended up with the worst of all imaginable worlds. We've got the least amount of room and the highest. I don't think that the madness of thinking that your property going up in value at a rate of knots must be an unalloyed good thing has ever been clearer. It's obviously a bad thing. What would you rather have? A property that wasn't going up in value but was twice the size of the one you've currently got? I don't know what the relationship is. Listen to this, though, from Emma. I think the British culture is operating under the feudalistic idea that the land we're born on doesn't actually belong to us. It belongs to kings or landlords or employers. It's quite tragic when you think about it. We've had our connection to our land severed by love of profit. I'd imagine that other cultures are quite different, a difference in their fundamental relationship with the world. And is it aristocracy again? Maybe our caller in Burton-on-Trent talking about primogeniture and hereditary monarchy should have stayed on for a little bit longer. We could have moved into this conversation and explained how actually the reason why you're sleeping on a pull-out sofa in the sitting room is because so much of the property is owned by such a small number of people. I just find that fascinating. There's another theory as well, which you've shared with me, and it is perhaps inevitably traceable back to Margaret Thatcher. I'm told by Nan of Stan that we don't have minimum space standards in the UK. In Europe, elsewhere in Europe, you'll have regulation and enforcement. Isn't it odd how the sort of ghost, the spectre of the haunted Penny-Farthing himself, Jacob Rees-Mogg, crops up whenever you see the phrase Europe and regulation in the same sentence. So here's another example of something that could be described as EU regulation. Minimum space standards. So developers cannot squeeze even more money out of you when you buy a property without giving you more space in return. Oh no, we must get rid of that sort of thing, says a man who probably has a moat around his house in Somerset.